Hello, and welcome to Education Technology Professionals. My name is Mr. Kirshner, and if you're here, it's probably because you've been assigned the Tynker Game Coding project in one of our classes. And so I'm just going to go ahead and show you an example of what we mean by the project, the sort of thing you can do, kind of walk you through the various components as to how it works, and kind of give you a better understanding for what the requirements are and how it works. So let's go ahead and move on over to Tynker, and we'll see what's going on there. Now you can see the demo project that I've put in place. I called it Space Redux, and we're going to go ahead into the game here and take a look and kind of see what's going on and how we put it together. In the stage, you'll notice we've just got the start conditions. I chose to put these in the stage. You can put them anywhere you want in the program, but as we go through, you can see where we've got each of our variables, and we'll go through these variables in the next few minutes here to show kind of what they're doing and where they are. So we got our move 1, move 2, game start, and score variables. So we'll go ahead and jump, and then of course let's play the sci-fi adventure music until done. Again, that's just some background music that's playing while we go through the instructions. Just moving down through our actors, that's the stage. Move on to the spaceship. The instructions for the spaceship are very simple. At the beginning of the game, we want it to hide. We want it to wait game start seconds. The game start, and you saw that again was set to 10 on the last screen. It's just a time to display kind of the instructions on how to play the game at the beginning, and because I was toying with the amount, I used a variable rather than having to go to each actor and change the variable on each one. This way I can, if I want to change the amount of time it takes for the game to start where the instructions are showing, I can change it in one location rather than having to go to each actor and changing it there. But it's given a start location then, and then after the instruction period is done, it will show. And for the ship, it's simply a matter of changing where it is. I can press the left arrow to move it to the left and the right arrow to move it to the right, and that's all we do with the ship. The laser is a little more complicated. Again, on the start it just hides, and we don't need to see it until the fire command is given. So we're going to fire with the space bar. So when space is pressed, we want to make certain that the laser is not visible. We want it to go to the spaceship actor. Once there, we want it to show. We want it to play the laser sound, and then this is the code that moves it up the screen and kind of fires it off towards the ships. Now we'll see the hit command later. When it receives the hit command, it then hides and plays the explosion sound. Now I have two groups of ships. This is the bottom row, I believe. And again, at the beginning of the game, it hides. It waits until the beginning game seconds are done and then shows. And then forever it follows this command. All right? It'll follow this loop forever. It changes X by move 1 pixels. And what that means is, and again, we saw the move 1 variable at the beginning under stage. It's set for 10. Each time it goes through this loop, it moves 10 pixels to the right. So it moves 10 pixels to the right. It checks to see if it is touching the edge. If it is touching the edge, it changes the move 1 variable to move 1 times -1. And what that means is it changes it from 10 to -10. So if it touches the edge, it then starts going the other direction. And then it waits a quarter of a second and goes back, moves, checks to see if it's touching the edge, waits a quarter of a second, moves, and does that forever. All right. Now, if it is touching the green laser, again, we fired the laser from the ship. If the laser hits this actor, then this ship will hide. It adds 1 to the score, and it broadcasts hit, which goes back to the laser tells it to disappear and not continue going up the screen, and then broadcast the explosion sound. And again, each one of these invaders, the code is in a different location on each page, but they've each got exactly the same code, so that when one of them hits the edge, all of this type of ship changes direction. All of the actors that have the same shape and are in that row change direction. All right, so we're going to see the same code for the other sets of ships, only now instead of using move 1, we're using move 2. So again, these ships will begin the game going to the left, and again, when they hit the edge, or when one of them hits the edge, all of them change direction and go to the right. And then they'll just, again, bounce back and forth. And we'll see how this goes. Again, a link to this game is included in the assignment, so you can see the example and can play it there. All right. Now, you've been assigned to this game. There have to be a certain number of actors. They have to interact in certain ways. And again, we're seeing how the laser interacts with pressing the spacebar, how it interacts with the other ships. You're also required to have a score. All right, and so again, at the beginning, let's jump back up and look at the stage. You can see where we have our score set to 0. All right, in order to see the score, we've added an actor called the score watcher, and that adds this bar in the upper left-hand corner where we can see what our score is. So on start, set score to 0, set font to bold. So here's where we control what the score looks like in the watcher. We want it set to active, or set to inactive, so on self to false, so that it's not interacting with itself, it's just displaying the score. And then we just have it continually displaying the score. It's always checking to see what the score is and displaying it. All right. And so it says substring of score. So this from 1 to 6 just shows the first 6 letters of the word score. Of course, score is 5 letters long, so we have a space at the end. And then it shows the what the score is at the end, and that's constantly updating. All right, I've added one more ship. Now this one just goes back and forth across the top. Again, it waits until the instructions are done. It goes to a site way off to the left and across the top, and then shows. And then it goes back and forth. It waits 15 seconds and then glides all the way across to the right, and then waits 20 seconds and glides all the way across to the left. And each time it goes a little bit faster. Each time the amount of time it takes is a little bit shorter than the time before. And again, when touching the green laser, in this case we get 50 points for shooting this one because it's farther away and changing its behavior. And we broadcast hit, which again goes back to the laser, makes it disappear, and play the explosion sound. Now, for some of you, you also have, as part of the assignment, a condition where the game has to end, where you have to display either win or lose. In that case, we'll take a look and see how this goes. So on start, we want this actor to hide. I've added a game over actor. It waits the game start seconds, so it doesn't do anything during that intro period. And then when the intro period is over, it will wait an additional 3 minutes, or 180 seconds. Again, everything has to be in seconds, but that's 3 minutes. And then at the end of the game, if it gets to 3 minutes, then it displays and broadcasts the lose image. However, if the score gets to 61, gets greater than 61. Now again, there are 12 1-point aliens and one 50-point alien. So if you shoot all the aliens, you get 62 points. So once the score is greater than 61, we show it and we broadcast the win condition. So on start, we've added a win actor. On start, it is hidden. When it receives the win broadcast, it shows it waits 1 second to allow everything else in the game to disappear, the other things that need to happen, and then it plays the win sound, which in this case is the heroic music. And again, in lose, so this is hidden until the game over actor broadcasts the lose condition, at which point it shows, it plays the alarm sound, waits 1 second, and then stops the game. All right, and we finally have the game start actor, which is the instructions that show at the beginning, and they shows for game start seconds. All right, so let's go ahead and again, you can play this because you have a link to it. So now you can see the code that's behind it. I invite you to go ahead and play around with it a little bit, look, see what's going on. And this again gives you some ideas as to what you can do for the game that you're supposed to be creating for the project. All right. Pray you're safe and well, and look forward to seeing you in class soon.